Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 more of my favorite Cricut hacks, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them. But they are things that I use to make my Cricut crafting so much easier, go so much smoother, and I love to make sure that things are kept as inexpensive as possible. So I have some of those tips and tricks as well in this video. Now be sure you're subscribed here on YouTube, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun DIY content that I have coming. And it is completely free to subscribe. So all you have to do is hit that big red subscribe button down below. Let's go ahead and get started. Labeling which side of your plastic sheet that goes down onto your mat seems kind of crazy, but there is one side that will stick better than others. So before I even take the plastic off of my mat, I use a sticker that I printed or one that someone sent me, and I place it on the side of the mat plastic that goes up. This is so helpful. And then if you ever set that plastic down somewhere, it's really easy to find because it has a sticker on it, so you're not going to lose it on your table somewhere. If you need to clean your mat quickly, baby wipes are the way to go. Now, I do recommend using alcohol-free, fragrance-free, sensitive wipes, and I really like these ones from Target because they're less fabric-y than like the Pampers and the Huggies, and they're less expensive. And since I'm not using them on a baby, I don't really mind if they're not like super soft, but they work so good. All you simply need to do is wipe it over your mat, and you can see I've got all this black gunk from cutting some felt, and I just kind of wipe it all into a little pile and look at everything that it pulled off. Baby wipes are a great option. I always keep them in my craft room anyways, especially if you are like using glue and things like that. It's great to clean off your hands as well. Now I go over my entire mat, kind of pushing everything off into the sides, and then as I finish, I get everything off with that baby wipe. Then you're going to want to let this sit and dry, but it doesn't take that long to dry, and you can always wave it in the air and it will dry. What's great about this is that once it's dry, it's sticky again. So it's really easy to do, a really inexpensive way to clean your mats, and this way you don't have to take them to your sink, you don't have to take up precious room on your kitchen counters, but it does get everything off your mat. Like I said, use some that are a little bit less like fabric and fuzzy, and I love these Target ones. I will link them down below. They're my absolute favorite. Test cutting is really important when it comes to working with your Cricut, and especially working with new materials or even when you put in a new blade. So all I do is I cut a little star and I make it about an inch big. And all I have to do for this is cut this on a little piece of whatever the material is that I'm using. Now my little hack is to put it at the bottom of the mat instead of at the top. That way it's just easier to access to check its cut setting. Now you just choose kind of a cut setting to start with. Typically if it's a vinyl product, I start with vinyl. If it's HTV, I start with everyday iron-on. But what you'll see here is that I have my product down at the very bottom of my mat. Like I said, that just makes it a lot easier to check the cut when it's done. I don't have to try to like reach under the silver bar to see if it cut. You do what works for you, but this is my little hack. And this only takes maybe a minute of your time, but is so important so that you don't waste product. Now, once it's done cutting, it'll cut it really quickly since it's just a tiny little star. All I do is I take my pin pen and I just check to see if it cut. Now, once I find out that it cut, I actually take the little star that it cut out, and I have a notebook that I place my star into. I write what type of material it is and what cut setting that I used. That way I can easily go back and reference that little notebook. This has been such a helpful item. Now this doesn't really work with HTV, but a lot of times I just take a little piece of tape and tape the HTV in. But you can see now I can go back, reference what type of vinyl and what cut setting I used, and it's always right there at the tip of my fingers. if I'm weeding something that has a lot of letters or small details, I find it easier to weed out the center of the letters and the details before I weed off the main back part. This actually helps hold the letters down when you're trying to take out those tiny little centers. A lot of times when you're pulling those little centers out, it could lift your letters, and by keeping the main backing on, it really helps you with that. This also goes pretty quickly, and I do find that leaving this on the mat for this type of weeding works best. You'll also notice that I have the mat upside down so that I'm not touching the sticky portion of the mat that's hanging out. That way I don't accidentally make it unsticky, get it dirty, or any of that. I love having my pin pen and my little Ivine berry, which I'll link those down below, just because it keeps my desk super duper clean. Now you'll notice that when I pull off the backing, how much easier this goes. I do lose one letter, but don't worry. We'll put that letter back on. It's totally fine, but you can see now how slow I go. It's to really make sure nothing comes up. I've got lots of little dots in my eyes and lots of small little letters. So you definitely want to take your time, but another quick little hack is to roll your paper or your vinyl or whatever you're taking off. You want to roll it away from your design, and you want to use that pin pen to help loosen any pieces that might be in between some of those letters, like your C's, your E's, your G's, anything like that. Now this hack I find perfect, especially if you're just getting started with your Cricut, and I would recommend labeling your mats. Now what's great about this is you can label each one for what each mat is going to hold. So strong grip, standard grip, fabric grip, and light grip mats. That way you don't get confused on what mat you need to use for what project. This is also great to help you find your plastic that maybe you got lost on your table, and to label the correct side of the mat. You'll see that this one's already labeled with a sticker, but you can label all of your mats. It's so simple. You can see here that I've labeled all 4 of my different types of mats with basics on what they can hold. Now obviously the fabric grip mat can hold a lot more, and each of them has the little stickers so that I can easily find my mat. So I think this is a great little hack that you can use to save yourself some time and frustrations. Now, which one of those hacks was your favorite, or is there one that you didn't know yet? These are all things that I've been using for a long time to help me in my Cricut journey, and I hope that they will help you in yours as well. If there's a hack that you absolutely love that I haven't featured, let me know in those comments down below. I always love learning the tips and tricks that you guys use in your crafting journeys as well. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.